Okay, hello everybody listening to KSUN Radio right now. It's DJ Rob, the Mellow Guy, and I have on the phone guitar extraordinaire Reb Beach, Winger, Whitesnake, a whole lot of projects. But first, let's say hello. Reb, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, doing great, getting excited to get back on the road again.
Exactly. I guess to start off, you brought up how you're excited to get back on the road. Whitesnake, you're going to be doing some touring, North America, and then you're going to be heading over to Europe. And really the reason why you're doing this tour, they're calling it the Purple Tour, because what is Whitesnake putting out here? A covers album of Deep Purple material, which, how was that? I actually want to quickly touch, because David Coverdale, it's a lot of the stuff that he did, but as a were you a fan growing up of Deep Purple, this material? How familiar are you with it? Kind of give a little information on that.
I had one album. No, I had two albums. I had Made in Europe, and I had Machine Head. And the songs that David did on this record were from the time when he was in the band, and that was three albums: Come Taste the Band, Stormbringer, and another one that I can't think of right now. But,
yeah, Burn.
I didn't have those records. I didn't know those records, so it was all brand new to me. And when I bought the records to hear the songs that he was talking about, I was really, really happy. It's like, oh, right, these songs are excellent.
Yeah, the Mark III lineup I really do enjoy from Deep Purple, so it's really interesting to hear that. David Coverdale, when he came into Deep Purple, along with Glenn Hughes, they brought such excitement to that band. And you've covered before, I've seen on YouTube, Whitesnake cover Burn, so you're familiar with that song.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know, were there any other songs that while you were recording that album that really just stood out, or stuff that you really remember or thought, wow, how did Blackmore come up with this or something?
Well, I thought the songwriting was excellent. Of course I have favorite songs. I mean, the first thing I went to was Mistreated. I'm like, all right, Mistreated.
That is a great song.
Oh, yeah, and I went out and bought a Strat, and a white Strat, and started, just riffing out on Blackmore licks, and, just kind of getting his feel for it. And I was so excited to be able to play that solo because, I have a more of a blues background than people know. They all think of me as flashy 80s tap guy.
Yeah.
But I have a blues band here in Pittsburgh where I live, and I love to play the blues, and it's a blues song, and Coverdale's amazing on it. I think it's the best song on the record. Came out great, and there's a couple of other really cool tunes. I had the honor of singing with David Coverdale. I did all of the Glenn Hughes parts.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
It turns out that my voice blended really well with David's voice. I've been in the band for 12 years and singing with him up on stage for 12 years, so I kind of know his vibrato. And I just matched it, and he said, "My Lord, Reb, we've got an amazing..." He's like, I had no idea you had such talent, and our blend together is like no other. It's really great working with him, but that was a big honor to sing duets with David Coverdale on the record.
Well, that sounds pretty amazing, I have to say. And I wanted to know, how did the opportunity come about for you to join Whitesnake? I've never really read anything about that. Were you presented with this? Did David Coverdale approach you, or how did that come about?
No, I heard that Whitesnake was looking for a guitar player, so I made a package of just all my stuff. I was in Dawkins at the time, so I sent out the live Dawkins video and, Winger stuff, anything I could think of that was pertinent to hiring me for the gig, and I really, really wanted it. And so I ended up getting it, and then I was in Dawkins, and Dawkins was scheduled to open for Whitesnake in a couple months on Rock Never Stops tour. And so I had to call Don Dawkins and say, "Hey, Don, I'm sorry, man, you're opening for me now." And he had to find another guitar player.
Well, stuff like that happens, and I hope Don Dawkins he's not too hurt over that, right?
No, not at all.
Good,
We're
okay.
good friends.
That's good. That's always good. Now, speaking of Whitesnake too, you have another well-known guitar player in the band, Doug Aldrich, a guy who's involved in many different other projects. You know, again, to me, when I see you two guys playing together, it's amazing to have two such great guitar players at that level on stage, playing the classic Whitesnake songs, also coming up with the new material. I want to know, how is that chemistry working with Doug in the band?
Well, Doug left the band about a year ago.
Okay, I definitely have not been following Whitesnake that well.
Yeah, we've got a new guy in the band. You know, working with Doug was awesome, man. Doug is, you know, he's perfect for that stuff. He was great at doing the Sykes licks, you know, and I did all the Vi stuff. So we were really good together. The new guy is Joel Hoekstra from Night Ranger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a badass, and
yes.
He's also a Broadway guy. He was in Rock of Ages, you know.
I do know.
What's that?
I said I do know. Yeah.
Oh, you do know? Yeah. Okay, there you go.
Rock of Ages.
Rock of Ages, right? So you know he's used to Broadway and to reading charts, and you know he's a mathematician when it comes to music. He can play anything, and he plays perfect solos. He's like a machine. It's amazing, and he can do anything I can do. So we play these great double solos together on the record. That's me and him on Burn, if you listen to it on YouTube.
Okay, actually I have the Burn and Stormbringer radio songs I'll actually be playing during the show. Get the listeners to check that out. Definitely good stuff, what I've heard from it already. I really do like it. I like Stormbringer. That's a riff right there, people.
It's a good riff, yeah. And that was kind of David's baby. He wanted it to be really ethereal, and he wanted it to sound like a storm that's rolling in. And so that's what it came out like. There's lots of cool, weird noises and trippy. I'm playing the solo on that one.
Oh, okay.
With my Strat.
Nice. Got to have the Strat there. Make it authentic.
For Deep Purple.
Exactly. Now let's segue over to some Winger news. What is going on in the Winger camp? I know you had a new album out there last year. I'm going to be honest. Didn't listen to much of it. I did, I think, check out one song on YouTube. Have you been doing some touring for that? Have you been kind of playing that out?
Well, no, we just kind of wrapped it up. Yeah, we did a ton of shows.
Okay, in 2014?
So when Doug left the band, I flew over to David's house, and I moved in with him for 6 months, which that was really interesting because, you know, David is a very classy guy. He's a British aristocrat, and I'm just an American bum. And, you know, I'd wake up in the morning just, you know, with a hangover and, you know, hi, David. And he'd be like, Rebel, how are you this fine morning? You know, he's just always happy, and he's really fun to work with. But so every single weekend, I'd get on a plane every Thursday, fly out, do Winger shows, and, you know, mostly in the Midwest, and then fly back to Reno and continue arranging and recording the new Purple record. But no, you know, Winger, they kind of work around my schedule, which is very awesome. We're all best friends, and we all have other stuff going on. You know, Johnny Roth plays with Jefferson Starship, and Kip, you know, directs orchestras and arranges for, you know, ballets and stuff. And
wow, he's really doing well.
Kip's amazing.
That's amazing.
The drummer is he's a professor at Berkeley.
Jeez. Now, hey, Reb, got to ask you this. Back in the day, you took a lot of stuff in Winger, you know, people, Metallica throwing darts at you, Beavis and Butthead. How were you able to cope with that, you know, sometimes?
Sometimes?
You know, were you able to cope with it, or did sometimes you were like, I can't handle these douches out there?
Well, the way it happened was we were on the road, had a new album, Pull, which is arguably our best record, and you know, with a huge budget, and Mike Shipley, who engineered Back in Black, produced it, and you know, we were all excited, and so we're doing well. We're doing about 2,500 people a night, and some kid brings this video of Beavis and Butthead, a new show, and sticks it on our bus, and we all just went, oh no. And that was the end. In that week, our album sales stopped. They halted, came to a complete halt, and people just didn't come to our shows. We went from selling 2,500 tickets to selling 100 tickets. So we canceled the tour, sold my house in Florida, sold all my guitars, moved back home to Pittsburgh, and thank God for Alice Cooper, because I would have been a house, painting houses now.
That is true. Thank God for Alice Cooper. I mean, I never knew that actually had such a strong effect. You're telling me this one TV show kind of put the nail in the coffin?
MTV, made us and then broke us down.
That is.
The problem is, we came out in 89, the beginning of 89.
Yeah, towards the end of the whole stuff.
Yeah, I'd be a rich man if we came out in 86, We had a great single on Pull. It was, it was really a really good album. It came out too late, But it's a great band. Winger's one of the bands that's persevered. We do well when we play out, and people love it. We've got a great following. And the key is to have a singer, have a guy who can still sing that stuff. And, Kip sings better now than he did back then. It's crazy, He's a vocal teacher and everything. So, I mean, we're all getting up there. Our drummer's 64.
Wow.
So, yeah, we'll just go as long as we can. But we're all best friends, which is unique because when we do shows with these other bands, they all mention, it's so weird how you guys actually hang out together. Do you hang out together? I'm like, yeah, we go to lunch every day as a foursome because we're all friends.
I think that's actually probably the most important part of being in a band is you actually get along with the people that you're making music with. So,
and it's rare.
It's very rare.
There's one jerk always in the band.
Usually, yeah. Just ask Gene Simmons. Whoops. All right. I have to ask you this. Black Magic, it's an insane song. No matter what people no matter
that you know that song.
No matter what people say. Well, I'm a guitar player. That's where I'll be honest, I love the guitar shredding. That's to me when I watch you play that song, no matter what somebody wants to criticize about Winger, your hair length, all that other stuff, the videos, just put on that song and they'll shut up right away. Because that is insane technicality, virtuosity. How long did it take to come up with that song? And do you still play that? Or do you still have that down?
Yeah, man. I play it with my band. And it's going to be on my new record with Billy Sheehan playing bass.
That's going to be something that people need to check out. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's a cool tune. I wrote it when I was a kid, and it didn't take long to write. It's pretty easy,
Speak for yourself.
Well, yeah, I don't mean the solo. I mean just the song.
Oh, yeah.
The chords are very basic.
Well,
and it's a dun 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 da, which Kip would never let me write, Ponderosa type songs. With that beat, he was just always against that, and so that's why I did it on my own because I like songs that do that. Like I love Dokken, and Dokken has a ton of giddy up songs like that.
Yeah, again, you've had an extensive career, dude, and I have to say you've persevered. The stuff of Whitesnake that I've listened to so far off this Purple album sounds great. Also, shout out for Forevermore. That was a really solid release in 2011, dude.
I had nothing to do with that.
You didn't?
Nah. I showed up, played a couple solos, drank a beer, and left.
You played a couple solos though. You did put the work in. You gotta give yourself the credit, Reb. You've been there.
No,
you persevered.
I didn't do anything on that record. I played a little bit, and that's it.
You're not painting houses anymore, right?
I'm not painting houses. That's for sure. I'm really lucky to be in two bands that that work it out so that I can keep working.
Yeah, it's tough this day in the music industry.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, young bands, that opportunity in the late 80s for a hard rock and metal band, nowadays it's not there. It's just extremely difficult. It's a hobby for a lot of these young up-and-coming metal bands. So.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the next Eddie Van Halen to come out, though.
You still think there is a possibility the next Eddie Van Halen can come out?
Well, when I think about it, I'm trying to figure why hasn't there been a guy who's had an impact on the guitar community like Yngwie or Eddie in so very long, in 20 years. And the only thing I can think of is that there's all these killer guitar players. I mean, there's millions of them that graduate these, schools like Berkeley and Musicians Institute. And, I see guys that just play circles around me, but no one has ever heard of them.
Yeah.
And I think the reason might be is that they can't write a song. And that's the ticket, I mean, maybe not these days, but,
Very
if
true.
you got good songs, then it's going to be accessible to people,
Yeah. I was also going to say you can go on YouTube and type in random person shredding, and there's millions of those videos nowadays.
Oh, my God.
It's
most of them suck. But,
yeah, that's true, too.
Yeah.
It's just it's saturated, I mean, there's so many of these guitar players nowadays that the really good ones, again, it's looking like you have to go through a haystack trying to find a needle, man.
Yeah, it's true. It's tough out there. I'm very, very lucky to have remained working for all this time and getting ready for a world tour, and I'm 52 years old. So I'm happy. I want to be like Mick Jagger.
That's definitely something to shoot for. Set your sights high, right?
I mean, yeah.
Do you mean you want to be able to be up in the age like Mick Jagger? Or you trying to shoot for his money and his women? I don't know what you want there.
That'll never happen. I heard he was a sex fiend.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Reb, thank you so much for this interview. It's been awesome, entertaining time here. And best of luck on this world tour. You guys are actually be coming through Santa Rosa, so all Sonoma State students, if you're listening right now, you should try to check out Whitesnake, as they'll be in Santa Rosa at the Wells Fargo Center.
It's going to be awesome.
Okay, man. Take it easy.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, later.